Hi Virgo, I hope that you're all doing well. We're here with a timeless reading. Welcome. The first card that we have out is Five of Pentacles. Can be going through a little bit of a rough patch right now with Five of Pentacles, but I'm seeing that you are moving forward. What this means is that if you've been suffering, if you have been struggling with something, if you've been going through a rough patch, like that type of thing, this can be like maybe something's going on with a relationship, or maybe something's going on with your finances, or maybe something's going on with your health. Whatever this is that's been going on that you could have been like, oh, when am I going to get out of here? Like this keeps droning on and on, you know, like when are we going to move forward? I'm seeing that's happening here. So this is said rough patch, and this is you moving forward. So times are getting much easier now. Six of Swords is about after a time when things have been chaotic or difficult, or there's been some type of strain, moving forward and moving on to a place that feels much better than where you've been. And that means too, moving out of that. After what happened, you can be feeling a little guarded, especially emotionally. This means you can be like intellectualizing things, but be a bit disconnected from your heart space. This can come out in forms of either being like self-critical or like judgmental of others, self-critical, self-judgmental, or it can be something that you're like looking at others and sort of feeling that way. But you can know that this comes from a place where you feel like you've been going through a challenge and you sort of need to protect yourself. Like this can be something that comes up when you're feeling more triggered, you know, or when you're not feeling safe, like starting to get really anal about things, or hypercritical, sensitive about stuff, or feeling guarded, or just like those types of things, you know? Anything that would be like, this is me and this is you, and that sense of separation that can happen. That may be making it hard to fully move forward. It's definitely a state of mind that one is in, but it comes from a feeling of like, I need to be guarded because I don't feel safe, and so I have to sort of keep myself in this space. But it can be a space of anticipation and one of feeling like you can't drop your guard. So you can notice that like things are moving forward and like aren't things getting better, but I'm still in this space. It's like the relay hasn't happened between you and yourself of like, I'm not in that position anymore, I'm moving forward, like I'm safe now, like things are better now, or things are finally moving, but my state of mind is still that old state of mind when things weren't good. It can be like that type of thing, you know? And there can just be some stuff that still hasn't been fully worked out yet. Psychologically speaking, you know what it reminds me of? That can be the most difficult part of this. It reminds me of like the experiment that they did where they had an animal in a cage and they like kept the door locked, and then eventually they unlocked the door and like the animal could leave, like it was open and stuff, but the animal stayed in there just because of being used to being like stuck in there. It's like that type of thing. Like psychologically, you went through something that was a very big rough patch. It could have been devastating. It could have been, you could have felt isolated, you could have felt alone, you could have felt like you were in some period of a loss, or there being a threatened loss, or something, like whatever this was that you went through, it definitely was a very challenging time. But Six of Swords shows you being out of that space now. Like that's not what's happening anymore. You're moving forward now, but psychologically you can still feel like you're in that mentality that you had to be in order to get you through that. But now that you're not in that space, you can feel like, okay, so I'm not in there anymore. I did move forward, but I'm not feeling totally connected and present with where I am currently, because I'm still in that state of mind. And I'm seeing it like very much that would be the feeling of it. It's like residue and still not being calibrated. It's like the adjustment hasn't been made. That can mean too, like your nervous system isn't regulated because it became dysregulated by that situation that you were in, and now you're still in that, you know, the fight or flight. And the thing about this too is that you can be feeling like, I'm not feeling like myself. I'm not feeling like I'm in my heart space right now, but I'm having a difficult time connecting with that. And it's because of this feeling of back there I couldn't be because I had to survive what I was going through. And so now the work is to adjust to, you're not in that position anymore. How do you come back down from that, from the height that you climbed up to? And it can be like when I was going through that, I had to disconnect. And now you're in a different space and you're still feeling disconnected, and it's because you have to reconnect. So yeah, that is the work currently. That's what I'm seeing. To allow things to fully evolve. Whatever that situation is, whatever that environment was, whatever that was, I'm not seeing it be a thing anymore. I'm seeing you be out of there. And to have the death card, it shows you're not going to go back into that. Like, you really are out of that. You're really out of the woods there with that. So you are definitely, it's not like you can teeter back and go back into it. Like, whatever that was, that you'd be happy you're not in that situation anymore. I'm seeing it like really be over and done with the death card. You may still feel like kind of fixated on it though, mentally. Maybe you're still trying to understand it. Yeah. Still feeling like there's a lot that you're navigating. It can feel kind of overwhelming. So, said situation has concluded. I am seeing you move forward. It feels like a lot of work that you have to do with yourself to allow this to actually happen. And it can feel really difficult. You can feel like you're in a battle right now, and you can feel like you're not in the best space mentally. You know, like psychologically speaking, you can feel like you're really struggling with this. There can be an insecurity. That can be where this is coming from. That can be part of this anyway. And it may be making it hard for you to show up however you would normally, you know? Like, when you're in a situation that calls for you to do something and you feel confident in yourself, you're like able to do it no problem. And I'm still seeing you be like very capable, but in your head, there may be some insecurity about that. And so it's making it really difficult to show up. And so even though whatever was happening before, maybe you were powerless within that situation, I'm seeing you be like in a very different space now where there's weight to your actions, and you're showing up within the energy of the King of Wands. But it can be something that, even though that is your energy, you can be like, I'm not feeling in touch with that part of myself right now. I'm not feeling in touch with the part of myself that's capable, the part of myself that's confident, the part of myself that will make bold moves, or that feels like I'm effective when I do things. You can feel like there's like a bit of a wounded ego here potentially. That can be something that happens too. There can be a bitterness, there can be an insecurity, it can be like those types of things. And it can be something too that you feel of yourself, because you could have felt like when you went through whatever you were going through, that rough patch, you could have felt powerless within that. And so there's a part of you that, in order to safeguard your ego, well, your ego safeguarding the rest of you, I guess. It can be like not having you show up and trying to do something in the case that you fail, you know, like that type of thing. And so it's almost like this nonchalant, like, I don't care anyway, you know, and then it ends up like everything falls apart, but feeling like at least I kept my ego intact. It can be very much like that type of thing that's going on right now, you know. You can feel like this is a lot of heavy lifting that you're doing. I do get the sense of this being something that sort of got to you mentally and then impacts the way that you show up, like your behavior, your actions, that type of thing. What motivates those things as well. I'm hearing something about nitpicking too. That can also be something going on. I'm seeing you be in a time of transition, but the most difficult part feels like if I could just be very reductive within the reading with what I'm seeing, it's like you went through something, you're no longer going through that thing anymore, but the psychological adjustment hasn't been made. And so you're still dealing with the aftermath, being like your nervous system still isn't fully regulated. Like in your head, you're still there because the transition hasn't been made psychologically. Physically, you're not in that situation anymore, or those events are not currently happening anymore. But it could have been something that, like, you felt so impacted by going through that recalibration hasn't happened yet. So right now I'm seeing you in the process of recalibrating. So again, even though like physically you may not be going through that situation anymore, and you're not going to, like, I'm seeing you be out of that already. You're in a different space. It's like mentally you're not in a different space. Mentally you're still in that same space that you had to be in, again, like in order, like that's how you survived going through that type of thing. But now an adjustment needs to be made, and that's where I'm seeing you be, and it hasn't been made yet, is what I'm seeing. And what this will feel like is, I'm not feeling totally present, I'm not feeling relaxed, I'm feeling on edge, and you can feel like that part of you that when you get stressed out comes out, critical and judgmental of self, critical and judgmental of others. Like every little thing becomes an issue, you know, like pointing out the flaws, getting really hung up on things, feeling like this, you become so rigid and so like uptight, like that type of feeling that I'm getting from this. But like you're on these stilts, kind of trying to balance like that, and not feeling grounded and not feeling like solidly planted. And you can feel too like it's very easy for things to be wavering mentally for you. Like sometimes it's okay, and then other times it's like, I'm really not feeling like myself, or is this myself? And then you're feeling disconnected, and then you're not feeling emotionally connected, you know. This can be like all the sympathy has left you, you know, and you are having a hard time being compassionate both with yourself and maybe with those around you. It can be that type of thing where you feel like I'm in my head and I'm nowhere else. And that is a blockage of the throat chakra. I definitely get this being heavily psychological stuff that's going on for you right now. And just that, again, like I haven't realized yet, even if you can know logically, but psychologically, it's not realizing that I'm safe now and I don't have to be this character, I don't have to play this game or be in this mindset anymore, because it's not that situation anymore, and this is basically what's happening currently. So I'm seeing this just be sort of a recognition of where you are. It's like a current like energetic reading of where you are with things, and that be essentially what's going on here with this. You can feel exhausted by this. You can feel like I'm putting in as best an effort as I can, or as much effort as I can, and I'm still just here right now, and that's okay. This is a process. It's something that takes time. You were very affected by whatever that was that had happened. Everything is going to fall in line. Something that can be helpful is recognizing when you're in that triggered state. even if it's just to be like, I'm feeling a bit ungrounded right now, or I'm not feeling totally present, or I'm feeling angry, I'm feeling resentment, I'm feeling insecure right now, I'm not feeling safe, you know, like those types of things. It just feels like coming towards this part of yourself that maybe even you look at this part of yourself and you don't like that you step into this energy, and then you're pushing that away, you know, when really it's that part of yourself that's communicating like, I'm feeling triggered right now, or I'm not feeling safe right now, like please protect me, and then that thing happens, you know. So it feels like just this heavy thing psychologically that you're working through right now with yourself. And I'm seeing like eventually you're moving in a direction where this is going to be something that's processed, and there is going to be a, like, you sort of coming out of the ashes of this. But you can very much not feel like you're there yet, but be patient with yourself as you are moving through this, because something that's going to be counterproductive is you knowing that you're in this state, you acting out because of it, and then like punishing yourself for it. Like self-forgiveness is going to be important, and even forgiveness of those around you, you know, like that type of thing. Whatever this is that you need to do, but anything where you're like increasing or encouraging the growth of like shame and that type of thing, it will make this process more difficult. So trying to, even the parts of yourself that are coming up within this that you may very much want to push away, trying instead to just sort of be with it rather than push it further away, because it's coming to you, these things and this behavior, you know, or these thoughts or this attitude, it's coming to you to be recognized, and it is very much a message to you. And if you can look at it like that rather than like self-blaming, it can be something that's really helpful in working through this, of like, this isn't a bad thing that this is happening, this is a part of the process of healing, and this is part of my process of undergoing the psychological transition that I'm undergoing right now. And that, so you can see it as parts of you that are needing your attention, that are coming through to communicate with you, and see that as a good thing, because these are signs of healing, you know. This is something that's happening. It's not a stagnancy. This is the process. So even though you can look at it and be like, this feels regressive, how is this part of the progress that I'm making? It is part of the progress that you're making, because you are communicating with yourself in this way. All right, my friends, we are going to leave the reading here. I would like to thank everyone for connecting. Thank you for tuning in. I am sending everybody love, and I hope to catch you guys next time.